3, 2. Well, we are live at Patrick's in Essex. Give it up for WNST coming east side. Matt Skura is out with us tonight from the Baltimore Ravens, and I have my ho-ho hat on. It's not officially December yet, but we're not doing enough shows in December, so I figured I'd wear my ho-ho hat because I'm not going to be around after the Kansas City game. How do I look, Luke?
It's okay. Thanksgiving's over. It's Christmas time, right?
I've eaten turkey. You know, they have turkey on the menu here, open-faced turkey sandwich. I said no. She's like, you want some roast beef? I'm like, no, I don't want open-faced anything. I want a victory this weekend in Atlanta, Matt Skura. How we doing, man?
We're doing great. Feeling good.
You know, I've done some research on Matt. Matt's got an affliction. First off, he's originally from Pittsburgh. How we feel about that? and then he went to Duke. Oh, we're not even in the ACC anymore.
Old feelings
But then
die
he
hard.
settled in Columbus, and here you are. But you did grow up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Just admit it. Well, when you grow up in Pittsburgh, you're a Steelers fan. You grow up in Essex, you're a Ravens fan. It's the way it goes. You know, I had the distinction like 15 years ago. Dave Zastidle was from Cleveland, Ohio. Grew up in Cleveland, was there, and was a great punter. Went to Ohio University. Was a quarterback. Left-footed, left-handed. He got drafted by the Ravens, and his family disowned him. Like his family would come in for the games, and they would wear all their Brown stuff. And this is like when the Browns were they're still 1-50, but this is 1999, 2000, 2001.
Gotcha.
I mean, any Pittsburgh grief from your fan? I mean, this is uncomfortable. How many Pittsburgh guys have we had play for the Ravens, Luke? Not a ton.
Not too many.
Marvin Lewis is from Pittsburgh, right? So there was a connection there. Ted Marchibroda was from Pittsburgh.
Kedrick Vincent, I think.
You know, there's a guy behind you on the wall. Here, on the Johnny U wall.
I've heard he was pretty good.
Johnny U was from Pittsburgh. So, you know, it's not that bad to be from Pittsburgh,
a little
right?
legacy. Nothing crazy.
Little legacy. But for you, does your family give you a hard time or no?
I wouldn't say my parents necessarily gave me a hard time. It was kind of more my siblings. I think it was a little bit harder for them to buy the Ravens gear, kind of.
I wouldn't wear Steelers gear. My son got drafted by the Steelers. Just would be no way.
Until he buys you a house.
Right. Yeah. It took a little convincing. You know, I had to tell him, hey, Mom, Dad, you know, this is kind of crazy, but I'm actually going to be signing with the Baltimore Ravens as an undrafted free agent. And
It was kind of like the Jeffersons, moving on up.
Exactly. And so, you know, it was a slow but sure process. And, you know, I still think my family has some of their Steelers jerseys and memorabilia hidden in the back of their closets. So
Blood thicker than water, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is, really.
yeah, and then I think during hockey season they flip the switch and they go put on all their Penguins gear and you
You know, I've been a Caps fan for 45 years. We finally won, right?
Right.
You know, we finally got the cup, got it off our back at this point, but I'm sure Pittsburgh will come calling again in April or May, as they always do. But you really claim Columbus is home and Charlotte is where you live now. But give me the Duke story because I think it is fascinating. On a basketball level, everybody knows about them. My dear friend Brian Baldinger played at Duke for the ball coach back in the days in the early 80s. But you were not this was not the apple of your eye, right? Like you didn't grow up loving Bobby Hurley or, you know, Rojo or whatever, right?
I hated Duke. I don't.
Now we love, now we love Matt Skura and Esau.
For whatever reason, I think I was just kind of like everyone else. I didn't really grow up knowing a lot about basketball. I just, for some reason, hated Duke. Woke up, I hate Duke.
Well, they win.
Because you're a good person.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to know anything about the New York Yankees to hate them, right?
Right, right. I think it was 2010. They went to the national championship game, and my wife Emma had actually bought me a Duke football shirt, and I said thank you, you know. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm really never gonna wear this shirt. Like I hate Duke, and I was cheering against Duke in that game, and it's crazy. About 6 months later, you know, I'm doing a workout. The offensive line coach from Duke comes and watches me work out, and he's like, hey, Matt, you know, I really like the way you move. Like, you look like you could be a good player for us.
Well, he saw your grades first, right?
Yeah,
That's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
I hate Duke because I couldn't get in.
And so he said, Matt, I think you'd really like our campus, like the guys, come down and visit for football camp, and I did. Ended up loving Duke and the guys and the coach. So, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of crazy because I was all about Midwest schools, Big Ten. At the time, it was Big East. And so that was kind of where my lens was. I was kind of looking that part of the country. And so, yeah, when I went down to Duke, I fell in love with it. And, yeah, kind of that's the rest of the story.
It's a small experience, right? I mean, from the outside, we think of Duke as, they're on TV all the time and they are a great basketball team. But it's a boutique school, really, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. It is. And Durham's a very small, tight-knit community. And the school's actually not very big either, which, I thought it was coming from being at Ohio State where it's, 50,000-plus students. Duke is a very small school. I think it's around 4,000 to 6,000 students. And I think that's what I also fell in love with it as well is because, the class sizes are small. It's more one-on-one attention. And,
what was your major?
Psychology and human development.
Oh, he's analyzing me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got you
That could
here.
take a while.
I must have done it. People have worked. We've lost people along the way trying to analyze me. I know that about that. Well, he hates Duke, too, so it's all – everybody hated Duke, right?
Of course.
When you go there, you bunker down. Now you're one of them,
Right, exactly.
For the Cameron experience, I still have never been to a basketball game there. My son got in a car and drove down there like 15 years ago and got in, sending me pictures and stuff. He's like, hey, I beat you there. And now, we ran from the ACC. There's no other way to play. We're never going to play Duke down there now, so I feel stupid about this. We got the UVA game. By the way, we'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Bel Air Wednesday night. Yeah, go beat Virginia on Wednesday night. Why not? You'll get one chance to beat the ACC unless you make a tournament. But, man, the Maryland fans want Duke bad. I mean, they really do. I mean, every year we're looking at the brackets and, give us one more chance to beat them. But
I think that would be a lot of fun. I think I would kind of like to see that game as well.
When you got there, were we still in the ACC, first year maybe? No, we were gone. We've been gone a long time now, right?
It's been a while.
6 years, 7 years?
I don't know if it's quite that long, but close.
Because I got there in 2011, so it's
long gone, baby. Take that Big Ten cash. That's what we got to do. Matt Skura is out with us. He is the center for your Baltimore Ravens. Luke Jones is riding shotgun. All of our programming here brought to you by our friends at Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Choose our friends Carl Delmont and Freedmont Mortgage. You can learn more at Freedmont.com. They sponsor all of our swabbings. We're at Patrick's tonight. If you want to get on the bone marrow registry, come on up, meet my wife at the end of the first segment. Luke wants to talk football with you. Something about quarterback controversies and running and passing. And
you know what? You already ruined it. My first question was going to be, who's starting at quarterback Sunday?
Well, I read the WNST text, and now it's Lamar. It sounds like Joe is not cleared on this.
We don't want to get Matt in trouble here.
Look, I'm not. I know the rules around here. The difference for our eyes, it looks like rugby one way, and it looks more like the NFL the other way. For you being down there blocking, I've never met an offensive lineman that doesn't like to run block, period, right?
Right.
It's just an easier thing to do, but I do think that after you do it 30 or 40 times at the end of the game, when you win, you guys have had a real pep in your step the last 2 weeks. You've looked fresh as offensive linemen. I'm not going to speak for Alex or Ronnie or anybody else, but it does feel like there's some freshness about running the football that you take more of a pounding when you throw.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think all offensive linemen really love running the ball. It's a chance for us to be even more physical than we normally are in the pass game. And also you realize when you run the ball, 30, 40 times a game, by the end of the third, fourth quarter, you're starting to really roll on the defensive linemen and linebackers. And, we think as an offensive line we're pretty good and we can kind of put the game and put the offense on our backs, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to have the opportunity to, go out there and just be able to, pound the rock, because we noticed against Oakland when we were running the ball, those guys were getting tired. They were down on a knee for commercial breaks or timeout. So we were starting to realize, we're running the ball and we're also wearing guys out. And that also helps in the pass game as well, because if those guys are a little bit winded, they're not going to be as fresh to get off the line of scrimmage. They're not going to, have the same fire and drive to get after the quarterback. So those are things that all have definitely played a part in our success.
Well, you're also confusing the hell out of them with packages too, right? Like, they're trying to shuttle guys in on defense, not really knowing what you're doing. We have so many sub-packages, it's incredible.
Right. And so that's definitely a part of our offense that we've been doing. I mean, really this whole year as well. It's just creating a lot of different packages and also doing it at a high tempo. So it puts pressure on the defense and the defensive coordinators. It forces them to kind of stay in one defense, and usually those defenses are pretty basic. And that's something that we've been trying to do and something that we're trying to build on every week.
One of the moments that stood out to me was I think it was the third play of the second half, and John Harbaugh talked after the game that at halftime there was discussion about getting back to the run. You guys had so much success against Cincinnati, but I believe Gus Edwards ran for 8-9 yards, and Ronnie Stanley, of all people. Ronnie's a good player, we know that, but not really a guy that stands out as being demonstrative and real fiery, at least in how he displays that.
The gentle giant.
And he was gesturing to the sideline, feed us more, run the rock, let's do it. And that really stood out to me. So I guess my question is, we always hear about wide receivers, running backs, skill position players having that swagger. As an offensive lineman, when you're running the ball like that, do you get that swagger as a group?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it really builds that confidence. Like you said, like Ronnie, he'll get super fired up when we get those big run plays. All of us do. I might not be showing it with body language or anything like that, but it definitely fires us up. And I think it also fires you up because we know we can run the ball well. And when we do that, and we show the coaches that we are doing it, it really does help. And I think in the first half we ran for 64 yards, and then in the first drive in the second half, we had already doubled our we had ran for like 65 yards in that one drive. And so that gave us a ton of confidence. I think it gave us a huge momentum boost in the game, and I think the momentum also goes to our defense as well. They go out and Suggs makes the play, Judon makes those 3 sacks, and the crowd starts getting into it and everything like that. So I think everything just feeds off one another.
Well, it shortens the game too. I mean, 7.5 minute drive. Felt like I'm ready to get up and leave the stadium before 4 o'clock. That's a different kind of feeling when you control the clock as well as control possession.
Yeah, for sure, and it does feel good when you. And we've been on the other side of that too, when you're just sitting on the bench for pretty much a whole quarter, and you're just like, oh man, like this game's going by fast. We need some opportunities, and that's what we want to do as an offense is have the other team kind of sitting on the bench and be able to have us extend drives and then also produce points as well, either field goals or you'd want touchdowns as well. So those things definitely help. Time possession for sure is a huge factor for us.
How different has it been with Lamar? I'm not going to say under center because I think you guys have been in shotgun about 93% of the time. I looked it up. But just his demeanor, how he handles the huddle. I don't want you to compare with Joe, but just how is it different? Not better or worse?
I mean, really as far as like us getting the play, it's pretty much all the same, Lamar versus Joe. I think the big difference is just how defenses react to our offense, knowing that there's a potential that he can run, and there's that where he's reading the defensive end or reading the linebacker, and he can either give it, keep it, or throw it. And so we've seen that big difference in recent weeks, just defenses kind of, I wouldn't say being as aggressive, but they're trying to play everything. They're trying to play the front side run. They're trying to play the back side. They're also trying to play for the pass as well. So that's
and they're telling you, don't freeze. Whatever you do, don't stop.
Right.
But then you find yourself going the wrong way, right?
Yeah, so
because you really are guessing if you're a defender, right?
Right, exactly, because you really don't want to overcommit anywhere. So I see Lamar like to my left, so I want to go hit Lamar, but then I just realized that he handed the ball off to the running back for a huge backside run. So those are things that definitely put the defensive linemen in tough predicaments. And, I think for us it's been kind of interesting to see those changes. And, it's been pretty cool.
I'm on the Gus bus. Matt Skura is out with us, starting center for the Baltimore Ravens. We're swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. We are at Patrick's in Essex. Get on down here. Cold out, warm inside. Bands on the weekends. My wife's having a steak. We got babies here. We got wives here. Baby's awake. Look at that. We got to take a break now, have dinner. I'm Nestor. We're back for more from Essex. Luke's here. Matt Skura's here. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.